This is the super smooth Audi A7 Sportback. It's essentially the four-door coupe version of the Audi A6 Saloon.
But this is no normal Audi A7 though. These two letters down here denote this is something very special.
The RS7 is the result of Audi giving the A7 to its in-house engineers. And they've added an aggressive-looking body kit, a sumptuous interior, a powerful V8 petrol engine, and a loud exhaust system.
But despite this tremendous power, the RS7 is still based on the A7 Sportback, so it is pretty practical. If we lift up the tailgate, electric of course, it reveals a good-sized boot. It's a very square opening, and despite it being pretty shallow here, it does go back a long way. If we grab the Carbuyer suitcase, you'll see that it fits up nicely into the corner and there's still a good amount of space on offer. Of course, you can still make it larger because this car has got 60/40 folding rear seats as standard. And if we fold that down, you'll see that we've got a completely flat loading area. The RS7 has a big advantage over its rivals because it's got the largest boot. It's larger than the old and the new Porsche Panamera and the Mercedes AMG CLS 63. Now, you've probably noticed the howling problem in here, and that is the fact that there is no headroom whatsoever. My head is completely brushing against the ceiling. If you're 6 foot or over, you're going to find it very uncomfortable back here. Now, Audi has done something to try and alleviate that problem. It's lifted the front seats up so you can slot your feet under it so you can slouch. Now, the RS7 is strictly a four-seater only. In the middle, you just get this little tray area where you'd normally find the middle seat for the middle passenger. But it does mean the two outer seats are very comfortable. They're nicely individually shaped and some nice shoulder support, which is very nice. There's ISOFIX points in each seat and they're easily reachable, which is very nice indeed. Practicality-wise, we've got a couple of cup holders under here. And if we lift up this cubby here, we've got a large space. In actual fact, this is where Audi has fitted the first aid kit. This also doubles up as a ski hatch, which is really nice for your winter holidays. And overall, yes, it is quite claustrophobic back here, but if you want a four-door coupe, you're going to have to make some sacrifices.
To reflect its position at the very top of the A7 range, the RS7 gets a whole load of standard kit, such as full leather upholstery, electric front seats, a head-up display, carbon fibre trim and clever matrix all-LED headlights. Go for the performance version and you'll get massive 21-inch wheels, matte grey exterior trim and a more powerful engine.
Up front, and the RS7's interior is taken straight out of the Audi A6 and the Audi A7, so you get this fantastic levels of build quality. In fact, I'd say this dashboard is probably the best that Audi makes in terms of material quality and strength, because everything in here is fantastic to touch. There's not one nasty piece of plastic in here, which is pretty incredible these days, I have to tell you. Now, there are some nice little touches in here. I particularly like the screen that folds out of the dashboard, and we've got the optional Bang & Olufsen stereo in here, and the little tweeters rise out of the corners of the dashboard. It's really very nice. It's very easy to get a good quality driving position as well, thanks to an electric adjustment on the steering column and on the seat.
Under the bonnet, you'll find a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 petrol engine hooked up to 4-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Go for the RS7 Performance and you get nearly 600 brake horsepower with 0 to 62 miles an hour taking just 3.7 seconds. But the standard car is quick enough. With 552 brake horsepower, it's just 0.2 seconds slower when sprinting from 0 to 62 miles an hour.
And what a lovely engine it is. Now, when you're just cruising around, the engine is just so unstressed. I'm doing 40 miles an hour and the engine is only turning over at 1100 RPM. It is so quiet in here. Leave the gearbox in auto mode and the changes are unnoticeable, and for the most part you're just cruising around in something like an Audi A8 limousine. It's that quiet in here. That's thanks in part to this super thick windscreen, and we've got double glazing, and this means it's a super refined car. In fact, just letting the gears do their own thing and cruising around as if you're the vicar, you could easily forget that under your right foot you've essentially got a supercar in conventional clothes. Switch the drive mode select round to dynamic and it's time to hang on!
Pressing dynamic mode on the drive mode select turns the usually smooth and refined RS7 into an animal. The suspension is stiffened and the steering and throttle responses are sharper, and that exhaust goes from quiet to very loud.
Within a split second, the RS7 has totally changed from a limousine to a supercar. The acceleration is absolutely explosive and the noise from those exhausts is just hilarious. Much like the Audi RS6 that Ginny reviewed, this car's Jekyll and Hyde character is absolutely extraordinary.
Drive the RS7 in dynamic mode and you're unlikely to be seeing much over 20 mpg, but use dynamic mode sparingly and it's capable of getting the RS7 up to around 27 mpg. But there's no denying the car's ability to cover ground so ruthlessly and so quickly. The Quattro four-wheel drive gives plenty of grip and the RS7 never feels out of its comfort zone. And if you go for the ceramic brakes, you get an RS7 that can pull up in a heartbeat.
However, it's not all praise, I'm afraid. Now, the RS7 drives like your typical hot Audi in the fact that it's mind-numbingly fast in a straight line. When you actually get to a corner, it's absolutely terrifying. That's not because of the speed that you can take through corners, it's the fact that there's no feedback through the steering whatsoever. If I turn through a fast set of corners like I am now, I've got no idea what the front wheels are doing. There's no communication. The front wheels aren't telling me where they are, what they're doing. It makes for quite an unnerving driving experience. There is one last gripe, I'm afraid. Now, it's to do with the interior. Now, it may very well be beautifully made, but the design in here is starting to feel a little bit old. The controls down here all feel a little bit cluttered. It's a far cry from much newer Audis that have a simpler, far less cluttered design. It may be a small gripe, but on a car that costs nearly £100,000, the dated design sticks out like a sore thumb.
A Porsche Panamera Turbo and a BMW M6 Grand Coupe are more involving and consequently more fun to drive, and with its large wheels the RS7's ride is predictably uncomfortable. You can make the ride more supple with adaptive dampers, but it's part of a £10,000 dynamic package. But it does include those ceramic brakes and the car's speed limiter raised from 155 to 189 miles an hour. The RS7 is one of those rare breed of super four-door saloons that combine comfort and devastating performance. Four-door coupes offer that rare blend of style, performance and an extra dose of practicality. If you're in the market for one, check out our reviews of the Porsche Panamera on the left or of the BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe on the right. Click at the top for our latest video and on our logo to subscribe.